Cassie, that was great. And thinking about the whole love poem thing. And they're few and far between here. I'm not sure. But here's a love poem with an attitude, okay? Let's think of it that way, maybe. It's called Outpost. Let's be clear about this. Even the permafrost will melt someday. Whether or not you and your 1,000 maybes are still around to sink into the resulting swamp. You've driven me to this pipeline of lies in a Jeep outfitted for rough weather, but damn near out of fuel. Jonah, you know, also claimed he was a victim of circumstance. Just got in with the wrong crowd. But he could have avoided the nightmare of that sodden belly if he had only listened. Others have been here even longer than you and have survived with nothing more than an extra blanket, a case of whiskey, and a plan for spring. The bay unfreezes with topical speed, I hear. You tell me how the fractured ice booms, how by midday the channel clears and waves lap the shores within hours. Tell me you can't imagine the salmon jumping again, their bodies feathering up to catch the light we didn't know was there. And this is also a love poem of sorts, I guess. It's a love poem to Saint Joan, Joan of Arc, my favorite saint. And it's based on a painting which hangs in the Museum of the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York. And the painting is simply called Joan of Arc, and it's by Jules Bastien-Lepage, a French painter. I imagined you in armor, only your smooth face giving away your femininity, or bound to the stake, burning placidly, after your fortunes turned, after going on with the tattered banner. But here I find you in your parents' cluttered garden, leaning out of an earlier life, where you were only a woman in bare feet with weaving to do. Two imploring saints hover transparently behind you, above an overturned chair, an abandoned loom. Your startled face shows that quaint furniture has already fallen into the past. Your left arm stretches forward as if something unseen coaxes you away. In the burning eyes and clenched right fist, the way your bodice is working loose, I find a woman, ready to strip away her womanhood, yearning to wear the armor, beginning the other story.
Thank you, Ken. What's the name of the book? I know I bought it when I was in Charleston.
Pilgrims.
Pilgrims. Okay. All right. Well, what I'll do is I'll start around the room like this. Keith, you want to come up? Introduce yourself.
All right.
Hi, I'm Keith Bates. Some of you already know me. Wendell, everyone else here. John, my lovely lady there. And Jesse James Dean. I'm with a duo called Red Wine. I'm a songwriter, singer, poet, all of the above. Try to write. This is the first time I've really just been doing some poetry. Most of my poetry usually winds up coupled with my guitar and doing something with it there. So now I'm going to write a couple of things, some short things I did. Since we're only limited to two, it's going to be quite short. The first one is called Welcome to the Other Side. Welcome to the other side. You made it without so much as a guide. It took so many years, and it took so many changes, so many turns and changing gears. You made it still intact, still with a smile through all the strife. Though not exact, the time still rearranges. So welcome to the other side. Yes, welcome to the other side of life. This one is called Mankind. It was just a little ditty I wrote after reading a bunch of science fiction stories from Robert Heinlein and Robert Asper and a few other people like that. Some of them are more obscure, like Stephen R. Dawson, people like that. If anybody's really into sci-fi, you know what I'm talking about. Well, here it goes. It says, "Who am I? Do you know me? Do you know yourself? What can it be? Traveling on in a different space and time. Keep up the lassitudes, the attitudes that preserve us, protect us, kill us. And still we strive. And still we survive. Miraculously. But who knows? By the way, can you spare time?" Thank you.
Thank you, Keith. For those that know him on Facebook, usually every morning he's talking about his magic elixir and writing words. So I like to call him a caffeinated poet or balladeer. Yeah. With that, we'll go on. John, you want to come on up? John Storino.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Al. Good to see everyone here at Artsy Fartsy. Good to see friends and associates, etc. So congratulations on new location. So good luck to you. And here we go. It's about poetry. This is from my first chapbook. It's entitled Crossings. And this was entitled On the Bank. On the bank of the Rio Grande, past Old Town, before the zoo, we sit in our childlike innocence. Talk of jobs we must attain, with a heron that looks at us, one leg hidden behind the other, so that it appears lame. We childhood sweethearts from the first day of grammar school, though our parents divided by the train tracks, our hearts soar over. Soon you will take that scholarship to the what seems the far-off world of New York. Yes, I know, Princeton is not New York. I just do not wish my love to be a quota Latina. I will go to TBI, down from Central, learn my carpentry trade. Though those are days in the future, we sit on the bank as a lone heron eyes us. A juniper branch drifts slowly downriver this summer day with our feet in the moist sand of the bank. I'm going to do one of my favorite poems. It's also a statement poem. I don't know how many of you know of a group called Food Not Bombs, but the thing is I volunteer on occasion for the group, and the first time I volunteered, this is the poem that was inspired by it. It's entitled To Walk In. To walk in these shoes, queue up to the table, Finley Park stage, shirt, 2 sweaters, jacket, for one does not carry a duffel bag for belongings. A paper plate in hand, a styro cup, some ham, some macaroni and cheese, the cup for the soup that will keep one warm for a short while, satisfy one's gnaw. To know that the served and the server are just reflections of a mirror. Life, fortune, faith in one's time. Baseball cap brimmed, keep the sun deflect from eyes. When his arms and legs to reach and walk, a mouth to speak, though too ashamed to ask. For one knows what side of the table one is on. One to know that this one has walked in these shoes, know that this one may still walk in these shoes. One is not a beggar that grasps for handout. One is a man, woman, child that found oneself here. No crime in a testimony that is one's life today. What one wishes for is the hope for one's future. Let it be said, I come here not to relieve myself, that I'm on this side of the table, think that I'm better than you. Just know that today I walk in my shoes.
Thank you, John. No? You're in the hat. I haven't had the honor of meeting you before.
I'm Gary.
Gary, what's your last name?
Right.
Right?
Right.
Rice. Okay.
Dinner, brother.
Okay, go ahead. Nice to meet you. You want that higher?
That's good. That's good. This is called Valentine Haiku. Oh, lover to me, that you would show the love we shared so long ago.
I didn't even get comfortable. Thank you.
Say it again for him.
I couldn't. Are you? Oh, you're.
Go
I
ahead.
don't think he heard it.
Inside.
Oh, lover to me, that you would show the love we shared so long ago.
Bob?
Hello, my name is Faust. I have two poems. They're kind of about love. I don't think there's anything else I could write about. And the first one is a little sketchy. I wrote it coming home from Goat Feathers one night in the mid-'80s. I used to spend the afternoon making earrings, and then I'd take two down to Goat Feathers and give them to a waitress and say, go in the restroom and try these on, and whatever pair you like, come out. So I got to know these girls pretty well, and I got to like them. Some of them had been my students. So here's a poem called A Girl to Hang Out With. Stripper, gripper, twister, ram her, sweat on her, slide all over her, or any other game you may wish to play in which you are the cat and she, a dying mouse, does not go here. This girl has a body to protect and the manners of a country brook. Words slip out of her with an easy laughter, and when she says hello, it's always unexpected but so down to earth. And it's no longer a surprise when you hear her easy chatter keep on coming, like the jingling of bracelets on her steady arm. She shows patience and common sense, the warm touch of the softest metals, the soul of a loaf of bread. At rest, she is rubber and putty. At work, she is hallelujah. I wish we could hang out on the same clothesline together. Well, I started going back to Europe to work again in the summer, and so my jumping off space was New Jersey, where I had come to Columbia from. All my friends were there, and so I would visit with them, and I would stay for 2 or 3 days and then get on the plane. And this one particular day, I was hanging out in what we call the junk room of the house. There was music there and tables to make art. It was the first place I ever made art, actually, so I was feeling in the spirit, so to speak. And my friend Gail, who was hosting me, had just bought a small ranch in Texas, and she was into cowboys, and she was playing country music, which was unusual for New Jersey. None of us had ever heard country music before. And so I sat in a wheelchair and kind of felt a little bit in the spirit of country sickness. And I started kind of slumping and feeling, well, what are these people doing? What are they singing about, you know? And so I thought, well, my prejudice is that I really don't complain about anything. I don't complain about love. I mean, and then I thought about it. I said, well, I've had a lot of relationships coming out of this house that really I could complain about. But of course, they were all my fault. So I said, okay, well, I can't write a country song in which I complain about the girls that I used to go out with. So let me write a song that's half real and half make-believe, and see if I too can write a country song. Of course, I knew it was not going to be a country song. I don't have a title for it. It's called Song. She went to Boston after her abortion to look for a joke and regain her insanity. She hoped of landing a part in a painting at the Princeton Supper Club or a Harvard rich man's son. She went to work every day religiously at the Archdiocese office, crackerjack secretary, working for the temporaries, living in a cold water flat. She practiced yoga, and she did her mime, and spent all her extra time making sure she did nobody harm. God bless America, land of the free. and the hungry for love who sound just like me. Oh, Miss American Sex Revolution, screwed up my brains, then fled retribution. Up there in Boston, biding her time until the next man tugs at her line.
I don't know what country musician's gonna play that. But I have hope.
Yeah, they tell a story all the time.
Okay, please. And introduce yourself.
Thanks, Al. My name is Joy Lynn, and I came because Jesse invited me, and I know him from playing music. But since everybody's doing poetry tonight, I thought, well, gosh, you know, I've written some poems in my life, but I really haven't memorized a whole lot of them. But there are two short ones that I actually can recite. So the first one is called Woodpecker. The saddest thing that I ever did see was a woodpecker pecking on a plastic tree. There was tears in his eyes when he said to me, "Things ain't made like they used to be." And the second poem is, if you could call it a poem, it's just called Money. Money makes you mean. Lack of money makes you meaner. Your eyes get sharp and your ears get keener. Thank you.
You'll have to bring back some of your poems in written form.
I will.
Wonderful. I know Duna wants to read. Is there anybody else? Well, Duna, please.
All right.
Watch her, she's got 3.
Yeah, I know. His was short, but
You only did one.
yes, he did.
I'll sign it.
I wasn't gonna play like I was short with
You
it.
come from, you thought that was a construction zone tonight?
Yeah. Oh, thank you. This is from yesterday at the State House. We had Arts Advocacy Day, and the South Carolina Arts Alliance came up with this hard hat idea, and Mona Lisa's wearing a hard hat for artworks in South Carolina, and it's, you know, anyway, so I wore it. I've got a pin too, but it was fairly successful. We had a whole lot of people, and they told us to shut up or we'd have to leave. So
Tell them the
That was
rest.
very
Tell them the rest.
all the rest.
Tell them the part where you took a sick day from work, you cheated the system.
No, I took
Come on.
annual leave, Gary.
Oh, well, darn, I can't get you in trouble.
Annual leave, and I told them what I was up to, and I promised not to get arrested. So,
Darn.
anyway. All right. I think all of these are love poems, but we'll see. Fly home. Your children will burn if you spend the night here. Fly away, ladybug, fly home. One day last spring, windows down the hall acquired a colorful, moving, dotted fringe. We watched them and wondered how long they could last, afraid they would bite if we brushed them away. Too many to catch and no mayonnaise jars near. Though roses may come, even aphids despise these sterile surroundings that are not our homes. The light that pours in past the buildings and wires is filtered by glass and blinded through slits. Outside these dark walls wait our families and friends. We work until clocks tell us when we can go. Sometime this winter, while we were all home, the left-behind ladybugs all lost their grip. Our windows are empty. We live in a barren world. Fly away, ladybug. Fly home. People I work with. These two aren't about Gary, but he's been around for the writing of all of these. So. The duration of peace. When it seems I can't stand life anymore, I remember peace. A picture of you from that other time emerges from the frame it should be in. That was a different time, and a different war brought us together. child of depression, expression of victory. 2 in a garden with sun falling through full branches of birds and bugs and all. And then this is about someone else. Descending to you once more. I cannot count how many times I carried you through that dark hallway, that corridor of unpaid rewards promised by the glare of an unyielding sun. You, my Orpheus, descended before me, forsaking your music for illness, relying on stronger poisons to deliver you out of your pain. Turned back your face again and again, powerless against annihilation. I never returned unscarred. I bear the marks of 1,000 lives, their stories ringing, chords of discordant sounds clashing in my head. I can tell you the names of the self-reliant who condemn my sacrifice, the critics who say you never existed at all. They were deaf to the stones that cried out for you that morning your soul was taken away. I believe you are walking in light now that your feet have left this earth. I see you only in dreams, entirely as you were, and not where you have gone.
To be honest, when I saw that hard hat, I thought maybe you'd been in the city square of Cairo. For a little solidarity for the people wanting their rights.
Yeah.
It excites me to hear different people's words, because words is a lot how we relate to each other. And I think it's really important for us to be able to express words and to hear other people's ways of looking at reality. I'm going to read a couple new poems I've written, relatively new. I write about every day, but sometimes I don't get them finished. They sit in a file on my computer that has tomorrow written on it. And everyone knows tomorrow doesn't come.
Mañana.
Okay. With that, this first one, you'd written a haiku. I like to write haiku sometimes because I think it teaches you brevity and how to be skillful with your words. And I started this one haiku, and it really grew into more than just, so it is 5 separate haikus, but they all relate to the other. So you'll hear a pause, so you'll know that that is one haiku and then the next. And for those that don't know what haiku is, it's a Japanese form of poetry that you have a line of 5 syllables, a line of 7, and a line of 5. And there's some other things about the what you're talking about. But basically, it's this rhythm. I title it "My Life as a Gecko." And my life is blind if I don't put on my arm extenders. You get to a certain spot in your life and your arms aren't long enough to hold it far enough away. Gecko on the fence sits so still while he plays at hiding in plain sight. Long tail balancing as he waits in the sunlight for an insect feast. Bird of prey watching, his death stalks him from a tree, hiding in plain sight. Old failures hold me upon the fence of indecision like a gecko's tail. Life crawls before me. I sit frozen in a pose, hiding in plain sight.
Yay.
I actually have another set of 4 haikus for each season, but I just can't get the one for spring to work the way I want it, so someday maybe I'll read it. But spring has so many things for me, I just can't put it in 17 syllables. This one I wrote Saturday, so some of you may know Sunday was the 66th birthday of Bob Marley, and this weekend was the 3rd real Pan-African Film Festival. It's the 3rd annual. It will be happening again next year during Black History Month. I encourage people to attend. This is part of South Carolina, and we should encourage the expression of arts and the diversity that is all over South Carolina. So my wife and I attended, and Saturday morning after the Friday evening, I woke and I had this poem. It's called Poem on the Eve of Bob Marley's 66th birthday. Awoke this morning, rain upon the window, syncopated music of ancient ways, crying tears for the oppressed, offering water for the thirsty, looking for redemption on the way back to the sea. Bob Marley rose up in a poor village, part Africa, part England, brewed in Jamaica, strong coffee mixed with cream, poured out as a wake-up call for the world, singing, "Don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing gonna be all right." Fighting for survival, armed with songs of freedom, rhythmic swaying emancipates our minds while wailing our harmonies as we dance towards the future, looking for redemption on the way back to the sea. I wrote this in tribute to my friends Sophia and Setu Amawasu for their service to the people of South Carolina in organizing the film festival. Well, we still have a little time. Are there anybody that has other poems that are just gnawing at them that they would like to read?
Have an announcement.
What's your announcement?
I'm going to have a solo show here the month of April.
Good. And an art show. Yeah. Jeannie's an artist. In fact, a lot of her art, somebody will have a music event or something, and she'll paint on stage, and she paints as things go. Are there any other poets that have something they want to do?
Is there any musicians in the house?
She brought the guitar, this lady right here.
Would you like to do a song or two?
Surely.
And then after that, we'll let Jesse end the evening. Do you have something you would like to still?
No.
Nope. Okay. Can you plug in, or do you need a microphone for the guitar?
Not plug in,
Oh, okay.
but I'll probably use the mic too.
Yeah, I'm for singing, I'm sure, but we have two mics. That's the reason why.
Go, Joy, go. Go, go, go. My age, you gotta just keep, go.
Gotta psych yourself up.
Serious water.
Talk yourself into doing that.
For those people that haven't been here before, sometimes we've had people get up and dance. We had a guy do beatbox and a young girl. I don't know what kind of dance you call that, but it was very interesting. We've had comedians. What else have we had? We had a magician one time. A belly dancer showed up and wanted to dance. We had that. So, as she's getting ready, creativity all comes from the same place. And we just express it in different ways. Some dance, some paint, some sculpt, some write prose. But it all, for me, it all comes from the same place. And some might call it the Holy Spirit, some may call it whatever. But it's reflected in the mirror of our heart. And the only difference is what is on your mirror. And some of us have a carnival mirror. Some of us have cracked mirrors, some of us have dirty mirrors, some of us have radiant mirrors. But I want to encourage people to do what's creative and to support everybody else's creativity in the community. And not all creativity, or those things that are creative, may appeal to you, but if you don't like someone else's art form, that's fine. But don't complain and put it down. Just let them do their thing and keep quiet and support one another. You about ready? Okay.
I want to do a tune first, so if you have anything else to say, feel free. Give me a minute.
Well, I don't know if I got anything else to say. I mean, I got too much to say. Let me see if I have another poem while you're doing that. Well, I know I have another poem, it's whether or not I actually want to read it.
Where's your glasses?
Hey,
In your pocket.
I'll tell you the secret to that.
I mean, no, I just took two pieces, 2 sets of batteries in this thing. It's on AM already.
For how long?
Not very long. I just.
I mean,
put it in
15, yes.
I'm
Did
sorry.
you let it sit, did you take a picture and let it sit overnight?
Yeah, I think so.
I wrote
Next
this
time,
poem in
Take
October.
the picture and you're putting it
during
away,
the,
take one battery out and put it
while
around.
she's tuning up.
You leave both batteries?
This poem I wrote during the month of for domestic violence because it really bothers me in so many ways. Not only that we would be cruel to one another, but sometimes I've known friends and even relatives who are very nice, very smart, very intelligent people, and for some reason they end up in an abusive relationship, and you just, you know, when you're sitting on the outside, you're just saying, walk away. But this one I called Bovine Affection. His hands promised affection and offered sweet gifts. She nuzzled at his shoulder, silently asking his hands to take her to a private place. One hand to stroke her face, one hand to gently lead her through the open gate. Fenced by cultural expectations and the barbed wire of social graces, she now comes to the gate when called, looking for handouts, seeking affections from the hand of a butcher.
I haven't been playing very much for a long, long time, but I'm trying to resurrect myself. So let's see if I can pull off a song. I went through because in honor of the flavor of the month Hallmark holiday season, I went through my vast repertoire of love songs, and I found a couple that I can still sort of play. Coffee's on the table, sitting there getting cold. My eggs and my toast are there too. My mind's in a shambles, I can't eat my scrambles. My eggs just ain't the same without you. The chair where you sat is occupied by the cat. You know you should have taken him too. I'm sitting here fried, you took my life's sunny side. My eggs just ain't the same without you. No more good morning kiss. No more I love you. No more jokes about how the dog had bit the paper boy, and my, that was good news. If you'll only come back, I let you keep your old cat. I let you wear your hair nicely with your once over lightly. My eggs just ain't the same without you. My egg just ain't the same. My coffee ain't the same. No, nothing is the same without you. Boo hoo. Desperate love songs. The few that I still can sort of play are kind of desperate ones. And let's see, what else do we have here? I had to actually write them down. I mean, there was a time when I could just whip them off, you know, but now, Jiminy Christmas. This is a part of the brain damage. Okay. Oh, God. Getting Desperate with John Prine. You come home late, you come home early. You come home big when you're feeling small. You come home straight, you come home curly. Sometimes you don't come home at all. So what in the world's come over you? What in heaven's name have you done? You've broken the speed of the sound of loneliness. You're out there running just to be on the run. I got a heart, it burns with a fever, and I got a jealous and a worried mind. How can a love that lasts forever get left so far behind? What in the world's come over you? What in heaven's name have you done? You've broken the speed of the sound of loneliness. You're out there running just to be on the run. It's a mighty mean and a dreadful sorrow that's crossed the evil line today. How can you ask about tomorrow? We ain't got a word to say. So what in the world's come over you? What in heaven's name have you done? You've broken the speed of the sound of loneliness. You're out there running just to be on the run. Out there running just to be on the run. Just to be on the run.
All right.
Come on up. We still got time. This is wonderful. While the next one gets ready, I'm going to pass around a pencil and a paper. Those of you who I don't have your email, please put your email on here so I can get you on our list. So you know what's happening. That's one of the nice things, though, about an open mic. There are always very sweet surprises, and that was very nice, Joy. Here's a pencil. Anybody I don't have your email, please put it on there, and I'll get you on the newsletter.
William.
So what's your name, friend?
Mel, they call me Mel.
Mel. Well, good.
Vaseline.
Oh.
Vaseline.
I
like Vaseline.
Boo. Boo. I'll get it. Okay.
We're gonna rock the house.
Yeah, let's hear it for Mel.
Yeah.
You know, Mel played with a Motown band a few years back. He won't tell you about it, but
You will.
I don't serve beer here tonight, so
Yeah.
While he's tuning up, my wife wants me to announce she's well, there's supposed to be a committee, but she's doing all the work. There's a multicultural committee at Newberry College where she's a professor, and they're bringing in a play this Friday night, and it's on Fannie Lou Hamer.
Yeah.
And what time does it start?
8 o'clock, doors open at 7:30.
Doors open at 7:30, starts at 8 o'clock. It's free, but when the place fills, there's no more space.
150 seats.
150 seats. We welcome you to come. It'll be in what, Wiles?
Yeah,
Chapel?
the basement of the chapel has a theater in it. So the basement of Wiley's chapel.
Yeah, and you can't, it's not a big campus. You can't miss the church. But it's in the basement. And I encourage people who, if you don't know who Fannie Lou Hamer is, come to the play and you'll say, why is our history books all about other people besides
Amen.
strong black women
Yeah.
who have changed America?
That's right. Mississippi Freedom Democratic Party.
Go ahead, friend.
Thank you. My name is Bassaboo. People call, or AKA Mel. I appreciate everybody giving me the opportunity to come up. John telling me to come out tonight, everything. Get my man Delvin in here, red wine and everything. I'm going to do this song since it's Valentine's time. It's called Fool's Paradise for the Lovers. It's a place where lovers go when they fall in and out of love. Fool's Paradise. Say that your heart is in your head, yeah, and you can hide what you really feel. No, you shouldn't try, you're so weak inside. Fool's done. No vacancy signs been placed outside your heart, and you can't hide what you really feel. You know you should try. You're so weak inside. Smile as you leave. You'll be back again. You'll be back again. Ooh, spell it's foolish, it's foolish, foolish, yeah. It's foolish, since it's poetry night, I wrote this as a poem, crazy poem. It's called When Manhood Died, and slash Death Does Ring. Kind of like a song about if something happened, the world end, maybe. I remember when the eagles flew. It was yesterday when the skies were blue. Now the sun don't shine through the window pane. And from out the sky falls acid rain. Whoa. And from the hearts of every man comes the signs of anger and restraint. And the children's laughter turns to tears and cries. I remember when manhood died. Manhood died, children cry. What of our future? There's no tomorrow. I remember hanging out with the old and the wise. I remember taking jokes off the weed, get high, flying by. I remember the pain. My life is full of sad songs I can't sing. I'll be like Cain in so many ways. I'm being punished for the rest of my days. Caught in a maze, the struggle, 11 days in an incredible. Bad luck comes to me, it comes in double. Do I care? My eyes show no tears. In my anger I am. This is more than I can bear. Why you leave me here? You condemn me to hell, but like the Bible says, only time will tell. Vision from the jail cells, what I see, they'll never get me. Ain't that right, Rashi, king of the TGs? Remember me and G.O.D. Don't leave me at the mercy of my enemies. Deliver me from my enemies and demons. Don't let them get me. These are songs I'll be singing, bell bells ringing. But I ain't afraid at all. Hear me when I call. I'm ready to get it on.
Jesse, you want to come up and start getting ready?
Can I do one for you?
Yes! William, please come up. I've been after William to read a poem, and now he's going to read one. This is William Christopher. He was actually our guest musician a while back. He played his piano and sang a couple songs. So, go ahead.
Great. It's easier for me to play than it is for me to do poetry. And I felt horrible one night. I thought, there's no way that I can do a poem in a night like this. I've been eating up with a virus for days. But I thought, no, wait a minute. That's a perfect night to do this poem. So it's sad, but Jesse will brighten things up after this. This is about a cat. So Al, I think and appreciate this. I've enjoyed different styles over the years. I've read lots of different poetry styles, as we all have, and I try to experiment with them a little bit. And this is older, you might recognize it, but it's a true story. I was coming home in the woods above Columbia, an hour or so above Columbia, on Highway 176, I think it was, a number of years ago, and I hit this big cat. You know, you would think it was a baby tiger or something. At first, it was a giant cat. And it was really dead. So I took it home and buried it in my backyard. This beautiful feline beast springs no more tonight. It had its supper from the wood. Worked hard for it by chasing the rodents in the darkness and batted a moth or two. And then a thump, bump, and thud, followed by the faintest squeal. His vigor shaken from him at a match against kinetic horses and steel. This beautiful beast now a corporeal corpse of torn fur and shattered bone, the blood still warm, still coursing. The coat still wet from the careful caress of a coarse tongue just a few moments before we met. As the warmth of his flesh slips forever into the cool night air, and our meeting becomes some kind of memory in the mind of this byway passerby who is only going from here to there. But I know who this creature is. We're a lot alike, and he's still out there. He's still full of cunning, still full of life, as he does his cat things and plays his little cat games next to that little creek at the bottom of the hill on that still spring night.
Well, thank you, William. We're going to have you come do some more. While Gary and Jesse get set up, I want to remind people again, support people who support the art. Lisa's been very nice about letting us use this place, and she's trying to get her art gallery and coffee bar going, so support her because she supports us. And also she has the dry cleaners next door. Yeah, and right now I think the dry cleaner supports this place. So by supporting the dry cleaner, you support this, which supports us. Also, I want to remind you again that Cassie has some books, and I want to thank Cassie for coming. and for all the surprises that we had tonight, because we had some new people. It's been a good evening, and I've enjoyed it, and I think we're ready for Jesse. And if you haven't given me your email and contact information, if I don't have it, please do.
Well, who's featuring next in a couple of weeks?
In a couple weeks, we're going to have Claire Bateman, who's a very accomplished poet. Many of the people in the poetry community know her. And then I still haven't decided or asked somebody to be my guest musician, but I know there's a couple people I heard tonight that I might be contacting. Yes.
I got open mind next Thursday.
Okay, also, Keith Bates hosts every other week an open mic series for music, and it's at the Utopia Bar, which is at, I think, Howard and Rosewood.
That's right.
And it's a quaint little place, especially when it's warm and they can sit outside. But inside it's nice, and the music's nice and varied. I encourage you to go.
Thursday the 17th.
Next Thursday. Thanks, Al. Yep.
Well, this is a true story. You put a little artistic license into everything, but stretch the imagination, I'm pretty good at that. But I went down to my brother's house to eat one night, and this is a comment that my sister-in-law made to me, and I'd seen a picture in the newspaper too, so I already knew about it. I wasn't surprised. But first thing that popped in my head was, all my exes live in Texas. Of course, that's already been written. And the second thing that came to me was, all my ex-wives are ex-cons. And I had to call a couple of wives and apologize to them beforehand. It didn't apply to them, but it applied to two of them. So once I heard the song, I had to write it.
How many was there?
4. I'm retired from it. I've had enough. Let's get it over there. Yeah. So I call this, all my ex-wives are ex-cons. I had an uncle who was a real good storyteller, and I think I get a little bit of it from him. I went to my brother's house to eat. We said we saw two of your ex-wives on the TV. One guy caught was student loan fraud, and the other one was abusing 39 dogs. The first wife, she gave me the 3 kids. And the second wife, she was real good in bed. And the third wife, she tried to rule over me, but the best one of all was the common law in between. Then all my ex-wives are ex-cons, and I get free reports every time I turn the TV on. And just when I think, what else can they do? One of them's mugshots on the 6 o'clock news. Well, they were always up some new criminal caper. Pictures plastered all over the newspapers. The things I'm hearing today are just amazing. But I could have told you they were all a little crazy. Yet all my ex-wives are ex-cons, and I get free reports when I think, what else can they do? One of them's mugshots on 6 o'clock news. Well, they never had to worry about hiring a private eye, 'cause they weren't very smart in living lives of crime. And they always said that nothing weren't ever their fault. But one thing's for sure, they always got caught. Then all my ex-wives are ex-cons, and I get free reports every time I turn the TV on. And just when I think, what else can they do? One of them's mugshot on 6 o'clock. Yes, all my ex-wives are ex-cons, and I get free reports every time I turn the TV on. And just when I think, what else can they do? One of them's mugshots on 6 o'clock. Yes, one of them's mugshot on 6 o'clock news. Thanks so much, guys.
Well, thanks, everybody. And again, support those who support the arts. It's been a good evening.
Yes.
All right.